Welcome back to another October kind of Halloween-ish video, mainly just a toy review, but I want to take a look at this big ass motherfucker. This is the Celtic Neca Predator. Now of course this guy comes to us from the very first AVP movie. This is my favorite, one of my favorite Predators. I personally love this Predator. I love his design. His helmet looks so good. Really absolutely love the way this Predator looks. Now, you did notice that I did go NECA. Well, this guy is sadly just a knockoff. I did order this guy on eBay and I was really happy, but I did notice that he doesn't, it's pretty much knockoff-ish. It feels great for a knockoff figure, but the head is just way too fucking loose. These kind of bone pieces are not really made quite right, and of course the big giveaway is there is no legal information at the bottom of the foot, so the figure itself is pretty much just a knockoff, which the basic way of telling is the bottom of the foot, because as you can see with the Jungle Predator, he does have this kind of information here and on the foot as well, but with him he does not, which means this is sadly a knockoff. But knockoff or not, this guy looks absolutely amazing, and it was so fun just getting him in the mail. Again, I got this guy during our AVP marathon, which I'm really happy with. This is definitely one of my favorite Predators. Love this guy, love his armor, loved how he was in the movie. Even though he did die early on, I just love, this is just my favorite Predator. Just the way he looks, the way he was, it was so cool. Now, the figure itself looks absolutely awesome. It is pretty accurate to the movie, but there's one thing that I did change about him is the skin. When I first got this figure, the skin was such a bright yellow. It was so ugly looking, but I darkened it up a little bit, kind of went over the kind of fishnets just a little bit, but you can see that some of the fishnets aren't painted that well, but that's mainly due to the paint that I used with this guy. But the figure itself looks so good, and he is pretty massive, and even though the head is, you know, popped off, it does look really cool. Really awesome figure. Now, even though I can just easily pop the head back on, you know, it is just a peg and you just, you know, pop that back on, and it is on, but it just easily, I can barely put pressure on it. But it does just simply just pop right off, and I don't know why it's not doing it now. There we go. It's not a strong connection from the peg to the hole, so that does kind of suck, but it is what it is. So we're going to take a look at this guy's accessories first before we get into looking at this figure fully. And the figure does have a pretty good, decent amount of accessories. First of all, he does have his blaster cannon, which does look very nice. It's very nicely painted and also very nicely made. The thing about this one is that the blaster cannon was backwards, and I'm not talking about just this little cannon piece that you can just swivel around. It also does pop off easily, but no, I'm talking about this whole piece was upside down basically when I first got him. So I basically just had to pop it out of this this kind of hinge right here, because this is a cool feature that it does clamp down when you don't need it, but it does have this kind of track which it does just push up, and there you go, it's pretty much there. But it was backwards, so it didn't make any difference, and it does feel like it is super cheap, but it is just mainly just rubber. So all I did was just pop this thing out, which I'm not going to do because I don't really feel like putting it back in. I popped it out and then turned it around, popped it right back in, and now it works pretty good as new. I try to be as careful as I can because I don't know how good this material is, since it's not really NECA official, and even if it was, I'd still be pretty careful. But it does look really nice. Love the way it looks, and I love the blaster cannon as well. I could probably put the Jungle Hunter's blast effect on this, which I actually might try in a second, because there is kind of a hole for something, but I think that's just kind of detailing. I don't think anything's supposed to go in there, and I don't think the original figure came with a blaster piece, but I'm gonna try it just to experiment a little. But it does look really cool. Like the blaster cannon a lot. He does come with a spear, which is very nice looking. Very interesting look for it because it does look very bright. I think just a little bit of a, I don't know, black shoe polish just here might look a little bit better, just to kind of darken it up, because it does look very, very clean, but it does look very, very nicely done. I like the way it looks, and I'm sorry if you can't even see it. I don't know how long it was like that. I'm kind of just staring at the actual thing in the camera, which I should be looking at the camera, but all in all, it's very, very cool. Very, very nice. Like the way it looks. There are these like little textures on the actual pole as well. Not too much, but does look very nice. Like it a lot. And the same side on the other as well. So there's that. This one is kind of a hidden one that I didn't know he came with. This one is mainly attached to his leg, which is why I didn't see it, but it is basically just a machete that the Predator has, and I think all of them do have this, but it's very, very cool looking, really, really nice, and a cool little fun accessory that this came with. The hilt does look very interesting, like the black, gold, and kind of bronze look. Pretty nice, and I love the way the blade looks as well. Really, really like that a lot. Super cool little extra accessory. These little pieces, this little, I guess, disc blade, not a disc blade, this is this, I mean, like a throwing star for Predators, that's pretty much all I can say. Looks super awesome. Thing about this one, I would be super careful with it, because these little blade pieces do not feel like they are going to be on for that long. I'd usually put all my accessories in my little Neca like sandwich bag, which holds them all in, and so far I've had no problems with it. But with this one, and probably most of these little accessories, I feel like they would just snap off, especially this one. If I put this one in the bag, it would just snap right off. But it looks super, super cool, but I gotta figure out how to either display them with it or put it in a safer place. And he does come with 2 wrist blades, which do go on his wrists. It is kind of sucky because he doesn't retract them like the Jungle Hunters do. But he does have the same situation with the Berserker Predator, which I reviewed on the channel, where he just kind of like, oh, he fell. He pretty much, you know, the blades just separate and you just plug it on in, and it's not really the best connection, but it'll do. It's not too bad. Really like the way they look. Super, super cool. But that's pretty much all his accessories. Let's take a look at the figure. Again, the figure itself looks amazing. The amount of detailing on this guy, you're gonna hear a little bit of a creaking, just a tiny bit. The amount of detail on this guy looks amazing. The helmet is so good looking. I love the kind of blue eyes. Love the way that looks a lot. He does have these little neck bone pieces as well. Very weirdly painting. It's like they tried, but it didn't work out too well. It just kind of looks odd. Doesn't even look like bones. They look more like rocks instead, but it does come off the head, which kind of does suck, because when you lose the head, this thing will probably fall off as well. So, you know, just be careful when you're buying this guy online, because he could be a knockoff. But armor itself looks super nice. I love the chest armor and just how bulky this guy is. Really, really cool looking. He does have this kind of, let's go back to the head real quick. Again, the helmet looks awesome. He does have these weird little antenna pieces, which I don't know where these go. I even looked on the actual official Neca product, and honestly, they have the exact same thing as well. Don't know where they go, but if you guys know, let me know. But he does have very nicely painted armor, which is pretty surprising. Really, really like the way it looks. He does have a very nice back, and he does have a little accessory holder, which is pretty cool. It's mainly just this tiny little clip right here, and you're supposed to take your blade or your spear and just plug it on in like that. But the connection to it is kind of shitty, so I'm gonna have to figure out something with that. But if you kind of line it up just right, you can kind of get it to where it holds. But yeah, it's not the best connection, which kind of sucks. And for the actual blaster cannon is super easy to put on, which I'm so grateful for. It's just these two little pegs that are right here and here, and you just plop them into these pieces here, and you just gotta plop, and it's in. Unlike the jungle hanger, which is like a pain in the ass to kind of put on. If you kind of just put this thing back on, shift it up, and there you go. He's got his blaster cannon on his shoulder, which looks pretty sick. Love the way that looks. Going down with the figure, he does have very nice skirt piece. You can see that he does have these little accessories here and here, which is pretty cool. This is basically like the shuriken piece, but retracted, which is pretty nice. I believe this kind of brown, you can't even see it, but this brown was probably from me, so that's my bad. He also has another shuriken piece. He does have some little equipment here and some rubber plastic. My favorite part is basically this part right here, because it does look really cool and it does move with the figure, so be careful you're trying to put them in mega like twist poses, because this probably would just pop off or something. He also does have a skirt piece as well, and this whole leg piece right here is rubber with a little string attached to it. Down at the feet do look very nice. I love how bulky the feet are and the kind of blades that are on the feet as well. Rubber, so they are not sharp at all. None of these little parts are sharp. They are a little bit pointy, but they're basically rubber. And he also does have a hilt for his sword, which we can just take the sword and just easily slide that on in like that. Looks very nice. The hands do pop off easily though, which kind of sucks because it's on this stupid little ball right here, which you just gotta, it just pops right in, but you know, it is annoying sometimes. It is very annoying, and it does look a little loose, but that's pretty much it where it comes to the detailing, and the detailing is very nice. For posability on the figure, he does have pretty decent ones. His head can look up that far and down that far, and he does have some rotation, and since it is loose, he does get some nice range of motion, and it actually does hold as well, so that's pretty nice. He does have a shoulder that goes out, I guess about that far, not really the best. He's got these very tight, not really feel good pivots here. It just kind of feels like the joint is stuck, you know, that feeling where like you think it's gonna move and you just keep twisting it, then it just breaks off. That's basically what I'm feeling a little bit at these joints here, especially this one right here. But that is supposed to swivel. He does have a bend at the knee, I believe, just a single bend. And he does have, of course, the ball joint at the wrist, which does go up, down, and rotation. He does have a little bit of a waist swivel and a little bit of a, what is it? That's chest swivel, waist swivel. There's no crunch at all, which kind of sucks. He does have decent spread at the leg. Leg can move out that far, but with this one I think it can move farther since this armor piece isn't there. Leg can go back about that far. He does have a double bend at the knee, which is very nice, really like that. He does have a hinge joint at the foot and a little bit of a pivot. So posability is not the best, but it is pretty nice. Looking at the wrist blades real quick before I do end this off, he does have these little small ones, and they're supposed to go into these little grooves right in here, but sadly mine are not the strongest connection, but they can easily just fall right out. So I think just a little bit of super glue, you can just easily slide that on in and it should have a better connection, hopefully. I hope so, but I'll try to fix that a little bit. But honestly, with this Predator, and it is a knockoff, so I really can't really bash it too much for being a knockoff, but it does suck that it is. It's not really the best, but it's also not one where I completely regret my purchase. But that's pretty much it with the figure. Posability is not bad. You can get him into some pretty cool battle stances to fight your xenomorphs that you would have. Since the hands are pretty much made of rubber, you can hold a lot of these accessories that he has, which is pretty cool. Very nice little grip, but not the best. He's definitely not my favorite Predator NECA figure, but he's doing his best, and of course it is not really official Neca, so can't really bash it too hard for that, but it is a little sucky because he doesn't have that much of a grip, to be honest. But just a little bit of fixing, I could probably get him to be pretty good, but that's pretty much it. Again, not the best figure, but do be careful when getting kind of older figures online, especially on eBay, because they can definitely be knockoffs, and this one is sadly one of them. But hopefully with the NECA, official NECA ones, they're actually pretty better, you know? But I think that is going to be all for this video. I did enjoy this figure. I am pretty happy with my purchase, but it's just not the most fun to handle, like, at all. But I think that's going to be all for this video. After the size comparison, I almost forgot. Here he is next to the NECA Jungle Hunter. Also next to the NECA Berserker Predator that I custom painted. Here he is next to a Leonard Predator, which I did get the other day and I custom painted him, so another video might be coming to you soon. And his very tiny counterpart, which I need to make a review on, the Celtic Hiya Toys figure. But I think that is going to be all for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. See you guys next time.